Hey guys, after that video that I posted last week, I got some really good feedback. So I'm going to start doing regular Q&As, probably like a bi-weekly thing. So I've got a few questions from you guys from the Facebook group that I want to answer today. The first one is, why is strength training important? Okay, so the first and most important part of that, I think, and that leads into some of the other stuff, is that strength training regularly will help you build and maintain muscle mass. So why is that important? The more muscle that you have on your frame, the higher your resting metabolism. So what that means is the more muscle that you have on your frame, the higher your metabolism will be when you're at rest. So just throughout the day, whether you're working out or not, the more muscle you have, the more calories your body will burn, which is awesome if your goal is fat loss or weight loss, for sure. The next point would be that people who strength train typically have a lower percentage of body fat compared to people who do not strength train. So that's important to know, again, especially if your goal is to lower your body fat percentage. Strength training is really important in the treatment and management of chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes, for example. Strength training can help a lot with that. Increasing your energy and mood is a benefit of strength training. It's been known to help fight a lot of the symptoms associated with depression. And of course, the stronger you are kind of mentally, your confidence will increase. You'll feel a little bit better about yourself, which obviously is awesome. It'll increase your bone health and bone density, decrease your risk for osteoporosis, which is great. And having extra muscle mass and being stronger obviously will decrease your risk of injury. The stronger you are, if you slip and falls, you can put your hand out, stuff like that. So it's really important for that. I've actually had some people come to me and say certain situations where they fell and they were able to catch themselves, and they attributed it to the fact that they had been strength training and they were stronger. So yeah, that answers that question. Okay, moving on to the next question. Should you ditch the scale? The short answer, I think, to that question is no. There's a lot of other ways, though, that you can measure your progress from your workouts. The first one would be your body fat percentage. So knowing the percentage of your body that is fat-free mass versus fat, so how much muscle you have on your frame compared to how much fat is on your frame, and making sure that you are in a healthier percentage in that sense. Obviously, you can measure how your clothes are fitting compared to how they were before. Are your pants looser? Are your shirt sleeves tighter if your goal is to, get your arms bigger, for example, which I'm not sure a lot of you are trying to do that, but that would be one way that you can measure that. Is your waist of your pants feeling slimmer? Is your strength or work capacity improving? So are you lifting more weight than you were last week? Are you getting more work done in less time when we're doing things like those density sets? That's a pretty good idea. That'll give you a pretty good idea that your body is adapting to the work that you're doing, which generally means the results are coming. If you might not be seeing them now, but keep going, they're coming because your body is adapting to what you're doing. Okay, and it's usually eventually going to adapt in changing the way that your body looks as well. Do you notice that your habits are improving subconsciously? So you've been working on eating better, drinking more water, things like that. For example, are you noticing that you're now doing those things subconsciously? Because obviously that's progress, right? If you really had to try hard to do those things before, but now you're doing them subconsciously, of course that's progress. Of course that's improvement. Are you being patient? Do you have a general understanding now that these things don't happen overnight? That's a good example of mental progress. A lot of people tend to get impatient with this stuff and they'll quit before the results actually come. So I consider if people are having a good understanding that they need to be patient with this stuff, that's an idea. They're mentally progressing in that sense. Okay, so that's important too. Okay, the next question was low carb versus low fat diets. Do I think one is better than the other? Do I think there's benefits to either one? So I'm going to start with low fat here. I don't think under any circumstances anybody should be on a low fat diet. I didn't do a whole lot of research into where the thinking that could be beneficial came from, but I know that there's a lot of reasons why a low-fat diet would not be beneficial. The first one being heart health. A low-fat diet is going to result in a decrease in your HDL cholesterol, which is your healthy cholesterol. It's responsible for managing your LDL cholesterol and making sure that that's at a healthy level. LDL cholesterol is the bad cholesterol. A low-fat diet is also going to negatively affect your brain health. It's going to negatively affect your mood, your mental performance, and increase the markers for depression. Obviously, you don't want that. Hormone imbalances. So a low-fat diet can negatively affect your hormone balances to the point of affecting your fertility, which may not be important to all of you, but I'm sure it's important to some of you. Just something to keep in mind there. Fat is also important for the absorption of certain vitamins. So for example, vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin K. If you do not have the right amount of healthy fats in your diet, your body will not do a good job of absorbing these vitamins properly, which obviously is important, right? You want to get all your vitamins and minerals. Okay, and then what about a low carb diet? Certainly there are benefits to a low carbohydrate diet. I'm sure you guys have heard about the ketogenic diet. So getting your body into ketosis, using fat as your body's primary fuel source certainly can have great benefits. Is it sustainable though? For a lot of people, no. It's a short-term solution for a lot of people and generally results in a lot of people falling off, which is something that for that reason I don't condone it. I like setting up people with lifestyles that they can sustain in the long term, and generally taking carbs away from people isn't a good idea if long-term sustainability is what we're after. I'm sure a lot of you guys can agree that you enjoy certain carbohydrates and stuff like that, and on a ketogenic diet, if you're going to maintain that, you literally cannot have carbs. It's not one of those things where you can go low carb all week and then on the weekend you have pasta and back to ketogenic diet on Monday. You literally cannot do that. It's no carbs at all. Sorry, 50 grams of carbs, I believe, is the maximum that you're allowed per day. So my general recommendation would be that you need healthy amounts of both fats and carbohydrates in your diet. If you go back to the video where I talked about calories and protein, I talked about how after you've calculated your calories, after you've calculated your protein intake, generally the remainder of those calories, you can balance those however you like between you can favor whichever you like between fats and carbohydrates. I'm not too picky about that. I would say on days that you are exercising vigorously, you're going to want to have a little bit more carbs, and on the days where you're a little bit more sedentary, you might want to have a little bit more fats, but just a general good balance of carbs and fat is my recommendation for you guys. Cool? Awesome.